Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it is not a very good year for Sony, ladies and gentlemen, between the disastrous dumpster fire that was Concord and how they had to pull that game literally from the shelves, literally from all their servers in less than 2 weeks. Well, it looks like another black eye, Lego Horizon Adventures, yes, based on the Horizon Dawn series out there, has now turned into an absolute disastrous dumpster fire over there on Steam, and is going to be another costly dumpster fire for the Sony Corporation out there, costing them hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, this is the Lego franchise, boys and girls. All of us have played these Lego games. If you're a fan of Harry Potter, if you're a fan of Batman, if you're a fan of Pirates of the Caribbean, we have all played these games. And yeah, maybe they're technically kids games, quote unquote, boys and girls, but a lot of us out there as adults play these games, especially when it's a franchise we all know and love and have enjoyed for such a long period of time out there. And Horizon Zero Dawn is one of those ones that has been around for a long time. It's sold millions upon millions of copies. A lot of people really enjoy the first one. I know there's some issues with some of the other installations out there, but more often than not, for the most part, the original stuff out there is very much beloved by a lot of fans out there. Well, guess what, boys and girls? I don't know if it's Sony, I don't know if it's the price tag, I don't know what it is about this game, but they are simply completely and totally checking out. And maybe it is that the Horizon Zero Dawn people out there have completely and totally abandoned the franchise because where it has gone in the recent era out there. Yes, they put identity politics, they uglified the main character, and yeah, needless to say, things aren't going very well for that franchise as a whole, and now it's not going very well for Sony over there with Lego either. Because as you can see over here from our dear sweet friends over at Bounding Into Comics, in another black eye for Sony, Lego Horizon Adventures debuts to even less Steam players than Concord, boys and girls. Yes, that hundreds of millions of dollars, $500 million disastrous dumpster fire for Sony, and now back to back, they're going to have another one, ladies and gentlemen. This is not looking good. And obviously Sony is a huge corporation and it's going to take a very long time for it to actually cause any major effect. But when you have back-to-back hundreds of millions of dollars of flops out there, eventually something has to change or you're going to go bankrupt, as we have seen with so many other corporations out there. The real question is, how long will it take for Sony to actually change and make a difference? Or are they all 100% true believers and they will end up going down with a sinking ship? At the end of the day, we will find out. So we're going to check out this article from Bounding Into Comics, getting all of the juicy details of exactly what is going on with this game and why it has flopped so miserably bad out there over on Steam. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below letting us know what you think about this. Are you out to play this Lego Horizon game? Are you completely and totally done with that franchise? Do you love the Lego games out there and have enjoyed everything prior to this kind of stuff going on out there? Let us know what you think about all that in the comment section down below. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, please check out the links in the description as well. So, from our dear sweet Nicola Project over at Bounding Into Comics. Believe it or not, Concord is no longer Sony's least played game of the year, as despite having both an established IP and one of the world's biggest toy brands attached to its name, Lego Horizon Adventures has actually managed to underperform the now shuttered hero shooter. Yes, boys and girls, a Lego game. I mean, what is that the real state of? That can't be the state of the Lego franchise. It's got to be state of the Horizon Zero Dawn legacy, right? The Horizon kind of legacy right there. That what else could possibly have caused this kind of thing? For those unaware, Lego Horizon Adventures is condensed and a far more lighthearted retelling of Horizon Zero Dawn's story, which trades in its source title's open world gameplay for a more linear levels and abundance of humor, kind of like just like what we've seen in Lego time and time again. Yet despite being a family-friendly outing, as weird as that sounds in the face of a post-apocalyptic setting, and holding a not-so-great but not terrible 71% on Metacritic, the game's Steam release has utterly failed to bring in not just young players, but any players. Nobody's playing this. Debuting to the Valve-owned storefront on November 14th, Alloy's latest adventure only hit a peak concurrent player count of just 602. 602 peak concurrent players, boys and girls. That's the all-time high. Almost 100 players less than disastrous Concord's peak count of 697. Yes, Horizon Zero Dawn is in a worse place than the Concord non-existent franchise. In fairness, it should be noted that younger players who actually want to play LEGO Horizon Adventures will likely do so not on a personal desktop computer, but rather a PlayStation 5 or Nintendo Switch, specifically due to the relative ease of access provided by such a dedicated gaming hardware. But at the end of the day, how many of you adults out there played and enjoyed the LEGO games? Why wouldn't you also be interested in playing these as well? But like you said, to give fairness, to give us actual context, because we do try to actually be fair and tell the truth over on others, on our side, other like all of the people that are involved in the cult. However, one would also be remiss to not point out that despite this trend, other LEGO titles and to make things fair to Horizon, specifically those that don't have a major cultural IP attached to them, have still managed to post higher peak player count numbers. Bloop. Including LEGO Brick Tales, 739, LEGO 2K Drive, 1,039, and the LEGO Ninjago movie with 5,434 on Steam. And trust me, the Ninjago thing is something that I have been around because of my kids have enjoyed it out there. And trust me, that is strictly meant for children. And that got 5,434. Boys and girls, that is not even close. And Ninjago is only known to children. It didn't sell like the over 30 million copies that the Horizon Zero Dawn franchise has sold. That's nuts. Meaning when it comes to LEGO and Horizon Adventures, interest is low even among older, longtime franchise fans because you ruined the franchise with all of your identity politics and uglifying of characters. You did it to yourself. Of course, it comes as no surprise that LEGO Horizon Adventures, despite being smooth and stunning experience in its own right, as is the standard for the LEGO game series, it is failing to draw in players. Simply put, it lacks the substance and charm that makes every other franchise adaptation a success. For instance, LEGO Batman and LEGO Star Wars games are filled with numerous characters who have had a strong impact on pop culture. In contrast, Horizon's characters and world just don't have the same cultural recognition. And while Alloy and her fellow playable characters, of which there are only 3 others, but that's a whole separate issue, especially considering all of the rest of the LEGO games, you get tons and tons, if not sometimes hundreds of playable characters, are a lovable group of well-designed protagonists. They all lack the kind of rich backstories that lend themselves to humor. Left with little to no work with, the game's writers had no other choice but to just invent humorous personality traits for everyone out of thin air. Like Alloy's newfound love of pickle sandwiches, Stylin's transformation into a DJ, and Aaron's bizarre obsession with donuts. So literally nothing actual fans of the original series would see and relate to in any way, shape, or form. As a result, the game feels less playfully subversive and self-referential and more LOL so random. Sony's price tag for LEGO Horizon Adventures also likely has played a part in repelling players away. At a $60, the game is notably more expensive than other LEGO titles, such as LEGO Harry Potter Collection, which is priced at $40. And that's Harry Potter! Way more popular and way more worldwide known than the Horizon franchise out there, boys and girls. And features the content of 2 full entries, which many other LEGO games failing within the $10 to $50 range. Alloy's Adventure, which looks in with a run time of just under 10 hours, and you want me to pay $60 for this game? That's barely DLC quality level of extra content. That's more in line with something like Call of Duty Black Ops. Offers minimal replayability, feels too overpriced for the amount of content it offers. And further compounding LEGO Horizon Adventures problems, there's also the fact that Sony hasn't given up on their plan to require a PlayStation Network account for all of their games. And I know for a lot of people that is DOA from them right from the very beginning. If that involves requiring a PlayStation account network access to end up playing the game, a lot of people simply aren't going to play it. And it's the same thing that we saw that backlash with Helldivers out there, and Sony actually had to reverse course on all of that kind of nonsense. Yeah, needless to say, the general gaming audience is not happy with that kind of nonsense, which not only turns players off from their titles, but also bars their sales in more than 160 countries, which certainly ain't helping their player count in any way, shape, or form, is it? So far, Sony's fall season has been one to forget. Concord was shut down only 2 weeks after its disastrous launch. Astrobot, while it achieved critical success and has entered Game of the Year nomination, barely managed to sell 1 million copies. Yeah, that was one of those flash in the pan. A lot of people talked about how much they loved it, and then literally it was over. Astrobot went nowhere. And the remaster Until Dawn disappointed even its biggest fans. Sadly, LEGO Horizon Adventures looks to be continuing the company's losing streak. Yeah, Sony is not in a good spot right now with the things that they actually produce in-house. Not going very well for them. As a franchise, Horizon has sold over 30 million copies, so it's not surprising that Sony chose to test the LEGO adaptation waters with an entry centered on Alloy. But be that as it may, LEGO Horizon Adventures is shaping up to be another title in the Sony catalog that will fail to meet expectations, which of course is always the nice, kind of thought speak inside of the corporate world out there say, yeah, it flopped. And that's exactly what this is going to end up happening. And Sony has just got a track record of this. Long is gone the company where you could almost put a gold standard seal of approval that a game coming from that company was going to be a success. That has not been the case in the last few years. And we know why. Sony has been affected and infected by the cult just like everybody else. And a vast majority of the AAA video game studios out there have had the exact same kind of thing. This isn't the AA studios that produce things like Space Marine and Black Myth Wukong. No, these are AAA studios that have been completely and totally taken over by advocates for the cult. And we saw the exact same thing happen with Horizon Zero Dawn. All you have to do is look at Alloy's pictures from the first game to Alloy's pictures from the second game. I mean, she literally it looks like she's put on 30 pounds in this 6 series out there. And of course, that's going to turn a lot of fans off there. The Horizon Zero Dawn franchise is already a damaged brand. And now we have gotten even more proof of that with even the LEGO adaptation for that couldn't even break Concord's consistent player base on Steam itself. Ladies and gentlemen, LEGO Horizon Adventure has turned into another disastrous dumpster fire for Sony, and it will cost them hundreds of millions of dollars once again because they decided to bet on identity politics instead of actually giving us good quality gameplay from franchises everyone knows and loves. And then with an outrageous sticker price out there, it is just going to be more bad press out there from all of the fans. And that's why Sony Horizon Adventures LEGO branded out there is officially flopped, and it will fail just like everything else that you have tried to push out there with all of your nonsense garbage. And after the end of the day, it's exactly what you deserve, Sony.